I'll come back. 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 I'll come back.
Wars slang to the
Okay.
attractive mom of a Star Wars fanboy.
That is amazing. Oh my god.
I love how my idiocy sometimes causes us to discover gems like this.
Hey man, did you go over to Jack's house and see Grand Milk Tarkin? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay.
There. Here's your link for proof. I hate everything. There's also an Instagram for Grand Milk Tarkin, apparently.
Esau, he was like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
No, they renamed themselves out of shame.
Right, we started because we're like 1 minute past.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, we've actually been live. That's awesome.
I don't like that. Okay.
Gentlemen, would you look at that?
No. Okay, let's get this show on the road. We've dillied
what is
long enough. I put
Oh,
a picture.
no, I mean,
Okay, I don't want to edit this hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Barcast, where the bar gets lower every single week. Your bartenders for this evening are Rav,
Oh shit, I'm first?
Enigma,
I'm gonna get hit by falling space debris.
Flam,
crunchitize me, Captain.
Milk,
I'm dead.
and I'm Flutterpriest. This week, pencils out for second Fauci ouchie. This week, we have a wonderful member of the pony community, a very recognizable face. No, name. Mostly a name, but also face. We have Iisaw.
I don't think if we checked, they're still back.
Oh no.
Nobody checked.
Oh, Raggy.
Nope, I'm back.
One of you motherfuckers
Okay.
killed the guy.
All right. Sorry.
Oh, he's here. He's here.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm going to go speed of sound, introduce everyone through. Hello and welcome to the Barcast. The Bar gets lower every single week. For all tuning in for the very first time, hello and welcome. We are a community-oriented podcast where 100% of our profits and proceeds go to fan-based charities. If you'd like to catch up on previous episodes, such as interviewing Andrea Lemon, John Delancey, Dusty Cat, and many more, feel free to check us out at thebarcast.net, where you can find links to our YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, and other places you can digest podcast-related material. We're streaming live on Twitch right now, which means that I'm volunteering Flam to watch the chat. Flam, what are questions we don't ask our guests?
We will not ask questions about politics. We will not ask questions about religion. We will not ask questions about personally identifiable information, even if other people say it is okay with them. And we will not ask our guests. I think they covered everything.
Yeah, no, you covered everything. You nailed it. And without a doubt, of course, for fun, with all the rules out of the way, we have a drinking word tonight. The drinking word is just. If you just hear the word just take a nice healthy sip. Please drink responsibly. We don't want to send someone to the hospital again. So, without further ado, we've dilly-dallied long enough. Iisaw, let's ask you some questions. That's what you're here for. Thank you for taking time to come on.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's start with some very basic introductions for those who may not be aware of who you are and what you do. Let's introduce you. Who are you and what do you do in the fandom?
I'm primarily a writer, although I have done a bunch of art. So most people would know me because of the Celestia Code and all the other things. That's about it.
All right, fair enough. Next question is, how did you get into the brony fandom? What got you into MLP?
I worked as an animator for years and years, and so every new cartoon that comes along, I give it a look just to see what's going on. And
Mhm.
I somehow missed MLP. It was on and wasn't really in my worldview, and I was out on a job and browsing the internet, and I saw the pictures, artwork of the ponies. I said, "Damn, those are really nice designs. What the hell is this?" And I found the episodes online on YouTube, and at that point it was just season one, and I watched them all in one night, and was
Wow.
just totally impressed because I know Flash and how it works, and I had no idea at all how the hell the crew was getting such great animation out of Flash.
Yeah.
And the stories were good. They were funny and clever, and yeah, I mean, hell, what else do you want? So yeah, I became an instant fan.
Awesome. And when you, I promise I won't delve too deep here, but when you say animation, is that hand-drawn animation? I'm sure you've, or more digital animation.
Mostly digital. I worked in video games for years. I mean, you
Oh,
can
wow.
see by my icon there, I'm an old fart. And yeah, so years and years in um, video games, and I did a lot of visual effects for film and television for the past decade or so.
That's so cool. I'm sure
Right.
you have this moment where you go and you watch a show or something like that, and you kind of have an idea of what's going into it. You can see where people are cutting corners and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a phrase I use, and I see something that it was obviously the people didn't put in their best work on that, and I say, well, that's one from the B team.
That's
And
actually, oh, go on.
no, there's a lot of it.
That's
Well,
that's really interesting, actually. Out of curiosity, do you ever find that when you're checking out a new work, a new cartoon or whatnot, or a new game even, do you feel that your experience in the industry sort of like biases your opinion on it in some respect? Like people say this is awesome, you should check it out, and when you do, you're like, oh my, like hypothetically, oh my God, this they really cut a lot of corners in here, and that just sort of like weighs in on your overall opinion on the game or show.
Uh, it's unavoidable. Anybody who's like, if you take a firefighter to a movie about firefighters, you're going to get an earful about all the shit they got wrong and all the stupid things. And I'm kind of that way with animation. But to tell you the truth, and I hate to admit it because I'm primarily an artist rather than a writer, but
mhm,
it's the script that makes a good movie. I can,
mhm.
old Doctor Who episodes where the sets are obviously made out of cardboard. That's
Yeah.
that's cool as long as it's a good, engaging story. I don't mind.
Of course, yeah.
That's so
But
cool.
I am often impressed by really good work, and there's a lot of that out there nowadays too.
That actually segues really well into our next question. So, speaking of good works, what would you consider your favorite part of our fandom? The online community, fan fiction, conventions, music. Long and short, what's keeping you here?
It's tough to pick because I've been involved in lots of other fandoms, science fiction, fantasy. I've been in the SCA for years, and that, and the MLP fandom produces more good stuff than most of all the others put together. I'm just astounded by the quality of work that comes out of MLP writers and artists. So actually, to narrow it down, it's the writing, it's the fanfic first, and then the artwork, both of which are superb. I mean, okay, 90% of it is utter crap. Sturgeon was right about that. But the the 10%, the 10% that's good is really damn good.
Yeah, that
No,
20%, it's or that 10%, it's really good.
I'll admit, yeah, there's definitely some stuff that's free here that it's so much better than actual published works you need to pay for. It's actually, when I first got into it, it's kind of
Galloping
mind-blowing.
abs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You all praise the art while I'm still surfing Derby Boru at the moment.
Remember that 90% rule. Yeah.
The next question that we got is, this is probably, well, that said, you're fairly connected in the fandom. If people wanted to find you, they could. But some people maybe just be hearing you for the first time. If there's one thing you could say to your followers or fans that have stuck around this long, what would it be?
Thank you for reading my stuff, for commenting on it, for upvoting it, just for interacting in a cool manner. That's another thing about this fandom is I have met more generous people in this fandom than any other. And among the people that volunteered to edit my stories, these are professional level editors. I mean, some are just very helpful because I'm the world's worst typist and I can't spell for shit. But I really had a couple of people who were just perceptive and clever editors and made my work a lot better than it would have been otherwise.
I know the feeling. Sometimes without my editors, I would never get out the door.
Yeah, and I recommend anybody who's writing get an editor. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how good other people tell you are, get an editor who knows what they're doing, because you only have a one-point perspective, and I can read a paragraph 20 times and not see the grammatical mistake that's just glaring, and somebody, even with an editor, somebody will point out in the comments, oh, hey, you repeated that whole line twice. Like, holy shit, how did I miss that? But yeah, another set of eyes on whatever you're doing is just invaluable.
Totally agree. And even in the times when you can't have an editor, I've noticed I'll do my best to edit it up and touch it off, and I'm scrubbing off what I know is crap. But then literally the moment I hit publish and I just look at how it looks on FimFiction, I'll immediately just see one little error that I completely forgot. And it's like, fuck. Like,
oh, yeah.
Every time, no question at all. So I totally agree with what you say.
And no matter how many times I go over something, once I publish it on FimFiction, then I reread the chapter myself, because I don't know what it is, but you're right. You will spot stuff then that you didn't the first 20 times.
Post-nut clarity for writers once it's published.
Yeah.
It just all the weight is off your shoulders, and now that you don't have that weight on your mind anymore, you look at it with pseudo fresh eyes, and you're like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have written that. Ah, shit, that's bad word placement.
You're describing a literacy version of Winker's remorse.
Well, fortunately, with sites like FimFic, you can go back and fix that stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely for that, but still makes for interesting times.
Oh yeah.
Well, up next we've got our lightning in a bottle of Generation 4 is over for ML, which kind of puts us as a fandom in a strange spot. Like, Generation 5 is going to come out, but it'd be hubris to think that it's going to have the same sort of lightning in a bottle effect that Generation 4 had. What do we do as a fandom to stay together, whole, and relevant going forward?
Oh, I think that we can be united in our hate of Generation 5.
Yeah.
This is a fantastically hot take. Please continue.
Well, I'm kidding, of course. I mean, I'm actually I'm cautiously pessimistic about Generation 5. It's looking like a whole different animal, and it may be good. The odds are against it, because the reason Lauren Faust created such a fantastic property is the suits handed down to her and says, here, we want a half-hour commercial for the plastic toys. Get on with it. And then they left her alone. And she was able to really drive the creation of a property that she actually loved. And that's always magic. Of course, now that My Little Pony is such a hot deal, all the suits upstairs are now getting involved. And they're bringing in ideas that their drunken girlfriend had them scrawl on a bar napkin last night. And here, you should put this in. Yeah, no, in case you're wondering, that actually happened to me in the video game biz. And
Oh my God.
No.
I am not bitter at all. I worked on a AAA game that sold incredibly. It put our studio on the map. It was just fantastic, a huge success. And the second one, in fact, they used the character as sort of the icon of the company because it was so successful. And the sequel game was completely and utterly ruined. I think maybe 12 people bought it, and they returned it because the clueless marketing guys got involved. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to, they took over. And of course, these are people that they don't play video games, they don't watch cartoons, they look down on it all, but they feel qualified to tell us how it's supposed to go. So then they get their names in the credits of a hit game. Except they didn't. They got their names on a piece of crap. So, ha ha ha.
I just imagine this scenario where you're crafting this game, and then a voice from higher up says, "The statistics say that children love joke characters, so include our own version of Jar Jar Binks in this game."
Oh God. Oh yeah. No, I mean literally, that stuff happens. It's almost too bad to satirize because that stuff happens every day, and you want to hear me go up a wall, just say marketing to me, and yeah, that'll do it. I've watched more good things destroyed by clueless suits in marketing than I can remember.
Sheesh.
It's just the big sadness of corporatized art.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tie this in back to MLP. Here's why fanfic is so good, because it's individuals writing what they're passionate about.
Yeah, and they
like
get
Warren Faust, and nobody's telling them. And moreover, they get to publish it when they want to. They don't have to write things that their agent is going to think is appropriate and will sell well, and also the publisher is going to sell well. You look at mainstream genre fiction nowadays, and it's getting more and more similar. You read one book in a particular genre, you read another one in the same genre, subgenre, they're darn near identical. And that's because there are these gatekeepers all along the way that think they know what a good book is. And so only these things, these particular things get published. And, on FinFic, I open the page and look for new stuff, and I have no fucking idea what I'm going to find. It could be glorious. I mean, odds are not, because that 90% rule again. But like I said, the 10% is something that's new and different and amazing. I guess Friendship is Optimal is a good example of that. Who the hell would have published something like that in the real world?
Oh yeah.
But it's a brilliant piece of writing, and spawned a whole raft of sequels and side stories and imitators and all that stuff, because it really hit home.
That was before the contest,
Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh yeah.
That was a whole idea.
Yeah, actually, I just wrote a short for the Friendship is Optimal contest, which is why my mind went there, I suppose. But no, I bore really easily, So when something new comes along, I'm looking for something new and different. And, you know, it, I go to a restaurant and I see something on a menu, okay, we're in the Ethiopian restaurant. And I say, Mula Gamesh. And I go, I have no idea what the hell that is. That's what I order because it could be wonderful. Now, again, 90%, I've regretted that choice many, many times. But many times I've really found something really good and new and interesting. So, but when you refuse to eat anything but boiled chicken and white bread, you're never going to find anything spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
What if I just wrap the white bread around the boiled chicken? It's something new.
We're not talking about your eating habits today, Enigma. Like we know you can't afford to eat, but all right. The next question is, who is best pony?
Twilight Sparkle.
Yes.
Wow,
I didn't have to think about that. Well,
that was quick.
I'll accept it.
I'm a fairly bright guy. I'm an introvert. I'm, a bookish nerd, among other things. Mm-hmm. And all of those types in cartoons, especially, but most of media, they're the funny sidekick. They're the doofus that doesn't know how to get along in real life, but they're really smart. And MLP, the bookish nerd, the introvert, is the main frickin' character. And she's not an idiot. I mean, she does make mistakes, because otherwise it would be a very interesting story. But that's another reason I fell in love with MLP instantly, is the main character was me. It's like, holy shit, when does that ever happen? So
yeah.
Okay. Let me make the question a bit more complicated for you. Which version of her is your favorite? Regular, alicorn, or princess?
Or actual or full princess.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
She's tall.
Probably, yeah. Probably the alicorn, because flying is, man, that's something. And I'm so glad they sort of retconned it after she got her wings and went back and had Rainbow trying to teach her how to fly, because that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
But not, as soon as she became the headmistress of the school, the head mayor of the school, and then actual princess of Equestria, no, because, God, those have got to be the dreariest, most thankless, unfun jobs in the universe. And I would not want to be stuck in her position.
You just had me thinking about her job history. She went from student to librarian to principal, and then jumped all the way to leader of the nation.
Yeah. Well, at least she had some job experience before she became a monarch. I mean, most of those kings and queens that are still in the world, just got born into it, and they don't know how to do anything but, give us their completely poisonous opinion. Oh, sorry.
Enough about
politics, right?
Nice. We're talking about Cersei Lannister, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I mean, that's why most of the stories I write, for one reason or another, she doesn't take the throne and goes off and does fun things instead. But
all right.
Go ahead.
Nope. No, I was going to move to the next question. So if you got more, by all means.
No, right. I was just going to full space.
We got a whole bunch of questions out in the thread now, and we're going to start with RB-47.
Okay.
Good old RB Dad, who's excited to see you on Iisaw. Number one, which of your works are you most proud of?
I believe the Celestia Code. I know it was the first one that was any good. I wrote something before it and I've deleted it since because it was crap.
Felt.
But because it was rough. It was the first thing I wrote of any length, attempting a novel length pony story, and it didn't come together in the first or even the third iteration. But I kept working at it, and I kept realigning things and going back over hinky construction and contradictions and things like that, and ironing it out until it became, a story that I'm proud of. I would hand that to anyone and say, yeah, read this, it's good. Which I wouldn't necessarily say about anything else I've written.
Fair enough. And then their second question, oh, aren't they sweet? They ask, why are you so awesome?
Aw, that's very nice of you. Mainly because I bore easily and I've been around for a long time. So I have a lot of tools on my tool belt, I guess.
Hey, you never have enough tools, especially social tools and definitely writing tools.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. I gotta get a bigger belt.
Up next, we have questions from Muggany. And Muggany has written you a story. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
He asks, do you remember your 9th birthday?
Oh my god.
Yes, actually I do. It was kind of memorable.
Do you remember that delicious cake your mom spent all day baking so that it'd be the perfect amount of moist?
That's exactly what happened. No.
Priest, I think you're reading this question wrong.
What do you mean?
Hey, do you remember your 9th birthday? Do you remember the delicious cake your mom spent all day baking so that it would be the perfect amount of moist? Do you remember when you first took the bite out of the cake when you were sad because it was dry? It was me, Barry. When you went to take that first bite, I accelerated the particles within the slice so that it would be older by a day or two and become stale.
Okay,
You did.
Yeah.
It's a reverse flash meme, Priest. Think, damn it, think!
Yeah, I think Muggany needs to calibrate his instruments there. My 9th birthday cake was actually 2 paper plates glued together at the edge and frosted with happy birthday written in marker on the top.
Oh.
My mom was an unusual character. Bohemian artist, I guess. And she forgot it was my birthday and she went, oh shit, I got to get him a cake. And, she worked with what she had. But, inside the paper plates, which did confuse me for a minute, was a promissory note to go to Disneyland. So that was pretty cool. And I don't like cake that much. So, it was memorable.
That's actually really sweet. Well, you know what, Flam, you did that so well. Why don't you take the second half of that?
Oh my god.
There's more. All right.
There is more. Surprisingly.
Yes. Do you remember when you were walking to the store that one Sunday after church when the man waved at you and said, how your day, instead of how is your day? It was me, Barry. I knew it would trigger your English grammar OCD by adding a conjunction in the middle of a sentence. I also knew you'd notice my misuse of the word conjunction. That's right, Barry. I knew it was a subtraction.
God fucking damn it.
Anyways, how your day?
Yeah. Well, what can you say to that? No, that was a rhetorical question. I know exactly what to say to that. Next.
And I said, hey, I don't want a whole kind of day.
Shut the fuck up, Enigma, I swear to God. Get your Arthur posting out of here.
Let's get this train back on the rails. RK Striker comes with actual questions. Number 1, what's your favorite non-MLP franchise?
If as far as cartoons go, probably Hilda.
Hilda,
yeah, Netflix show, and it's the reason I like it is a lot of the same reasons I liked MLP. It's strange and unusual. You don't actually know what might be around the next corner, and it's good-hearted, which is, rare.
I saw that show recently and I applaud it. I love it. I applaud it because there was an episode where you see a child die more than once.
Oh my god. That's why you remember it, because the child dies.
Uh,
Okay.
Whoa.
That's the type of thing that like gets people mad? Like, is that the only reason you would remember a bridge from Terabithia?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
I was more into Spiderwick Chronicles.
Oh.
You're bringing me back some literary PTSD right now.
Moving away from PTSD. Number 2, have you done anything for any fan-related works for non-MLP franchises?
A lot of artwork, but writing-wise, I wrote a few things, man, a long time ago, that were not very good. And it was for Watership Down and Digimon, I think.
Oh.
And this was a long fucking time ago, like 20 years, I bet. Yeah, something like that. So
I know Enigma here is our resident Digimon expert. I'll let him just go crazy.
Oh, okay. Then I have a question for you, Enigma.
Okay.
What version of Digimon's your favorite?
Tamers.
Tamers? Oh, get right there with you, pal.
Oh no, he answered correctly.
No, I love it. I love that weird multi-level thing where they played the game, but it was also real, which is one of the things I liked about seeing the Generation 5 preview, the fact that she had toys of Twilight Sparkle and the main 6 in her room. It has that 2-level reality effect that's like, oh, this could be weird. This could be interesting.
I liked Tamers because it was more of a quote-unquote realistic approach where they weren't even really Digimon. They were creatures that assumed the form of Digimon.
Yeah, and it went some very dark places for a kid's show, surprisingly.
Leomon always gets it from behind.
Yes, yeah, that straight up dies and it wrecks. Damn, I can't remember her name. The little girl who was his tamer.
She had the one who saw her mom died, and she had the puppet Jerry.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. What the fuck, Japan? No, I love that.
What the fuck, Japan?
Yeah, not the weirdest thing to come out of that island, but still, I appreciated it.
All right, then the next question is the eye patch your avatar wears a normal patch or a cybernetic device that allows her to shoot laser beams and or download the newspaper to read? I believe this is in regard to the Finn avatar.
Pirate Twilight, yeah. No, it's just a normal, it's very stylish, of course, because Rarity was involved with that, but just normal, because Twilight doesn't need no fucking laser beams. I mean, she's got them built in, right?
Right.
But it does have a shim and some lock picks hidden under the lining. I mean, just in case.
Just in case. All right. Now, the next question that we got is from Empty Plot Filler out in the chat. What is the biggest hang-up that you see in the Brody community? Readers, critiques, or writers' habits that you would like to see improved?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't have. I mean, all right, we can't talk politics, so
right. There are clearly some problems.
That pretty much removes all of my problems with the fandom. There's a lot of the fandom, and I mean every freaking cartoon fandom or any fandom of any sort is heavily into the sexy time stuff, right?
Right.
And that's just the way it is. But some of the guys that want to wear that on their sleeve or on both sleeves and all over their back in public creep me out a little bit. And I wish there was less of that.
Are you talking about those? Are you talking about those people who walk around with the Ahego jackets?
Yeah, pretty much. or walk from a convention to a restaurant holding one of the pillows. Yeah, one of the more egregious pillows. It's like
an inappropriate pillow.
Yeah, it's like especially the cons where there are kids there because it's a kids show, and I'm not going to tell anybody not to be into that kind of stuff because, well, first of all, it'd be useless to try, but just be cool about it. And my definition of cool is pretty a low bar. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I think you said it very well. Like, there's a certain degree where, like the BabsCon comes to mind, where they have like designated child-friendly areas. Where you need to be child-friendly. You need to be aware that this is the convention is just as much about for them as it is for us, and being aware of that and considerate of that is so important.
Yeah, I think that's great. And people who complain about there being a place where they can't display their interest, so to speak, it's like, come on, guys. Most of the fandom is a place where you can be honest about what you're interested in. You don't have to take it everywhere, especially where it's inappropriate.
Right.
On the opposite spectrum, though, there are those people who go out of their way to make sure that the kids have a great time. Like when they dress up like in a fursuit of one of the main characters, and the kids run up and they want a picture with them.
Oh yeah, I've seen examples of that over and over again. People really make a kid's day, and that's wonderful.
I think it's wonderful too. And like you, there's some degree where you kind of have to know if you dress up like that well enough, people are going to think. The young kids are going to think like, oh, that's the real thing. Well, they're not going to think it's the real thing, but like it's that Disneyland mascot effect, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
And quite a lot of the costumers make costumes that are way better than the official stuff. There's a little live stage show they take around, and those costumes are freaking nightmare fuel. I don't know how, they don't just make the kids cry, but some of the fan costumes are wonderful stuff.
100%. I agree with all of that assessment, but even if, again, to quite a bit to some extent, I do disagree with wearing everything on your sleeve. I 100% agree with you on that. However, I do love being a spectator to that stuff, as it leads to some of the greatest moments I've ever seen. I think my favorite things that I've seen is BronyCon specifically, because you actually have to walk to the convention area, and seeing people dressed completely with their interests all on their sleeve, walking past a bunch of normies and just seeing the looks on all their faces is probably some of the greatest vicariousness I've ever experienced.
The absolute horror on their face,
and revulsion and horror.
Everyone has their. Go ahead.
Their expression of revulsion doubles when they see the Ferrari dressed up with MLP decals.
Everyone certainly has their own sense of humor, but definitely that sort of cringe, make other people uncomfortable type of humor definitely isn't that. It definitely isn't for everyone.
Oh no, absolutely. I don't like being a part of cringe. I like watching cringe. There's a distinctness about it.
The best type of cringe is if you can cause it and not be directly a part of it.
When you hot potatoing your cringe.
Oh yes.
Here, it's your cringe now, and then just wash your hands of it. Wow, that's a special kind of shit stain, but
that's devious. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of cringe, the next question has nothing to do about it. Fan of Most Everything is up next and asks how much piracy is too much for a young Alicorn.
Oh, that's, I wrote a whole book about that. Seriously, let me refer you to the Skyla pseudonym. That is about twice as much piracy as any young Alicorn should be exposed to.
Oh, goodness. The next set of questions are from the Glim Master. Number one is, what did you truly saw, Iisaw?
I have seen the psychic center of the world. No kidding. It's a couple miles west of Yuma, and it's pretty cool, actually. I recommend you, if you happen to be in the area, check it out.
Ooh, they'll see me coming from a mile away.
And I'm not kidding. There actually is a place that's got history of the world carved into granite and labyrinths and weird ass shit, and a marker of the center of the world under a pyramid. And it only costs $10 to get in, so it's a deal.
That sounds
someplace we should go.
It sounds just tourist trappy enough to pull me in.
It's a hoot. It really is. It's actually pretty damn classy for a tourist trap.
Ooh. The next question is, how do you make worst pony become the best?
Well, I didn't intend to talk about Trixie, but let's.
Was there ever any doubt?
Sorry, I love her. She's so awful. Oh my God. But no, I take that seriously. If you have a pony you hate, or you think most people hate, write a novel-length story from their point of view. And if that doesn't do it, nothing will.
Yeah, I think that's well said.
But I don't like spoiled rich.
God. Yeah, okay, there may be a flaw in my plan.
I don't know. I've seen some really convincing story prompts for
her. I would not bet against it, because I'll bet there was somebody out there that could make me just fall in love with her. Anything is possible.
Just write a story called Spoiled Rich Ask for the Manager.
That sounds like something I would write.
I'd read it. I certainly would. Just the title is very promising.
It says underneath in the synapses, it says POV, you are the manager.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my God.
I would write a second person story. I know everyone's not into second person, but that would be a story and a half to write where you are the manager.
And have to deal with spoiled rich. That's actually, that's a fascinating thing to think about.
You would appeal to probably a fair amount of people in that position.
I bet you would.
If any of you write it, you better credit me.
All right, hold on. I'm going to write this down.
Oh my God. Oh boy, here we go.
I'll do it again. Say that again with your echoey flam. Say,
yuck, I'll do it again.
Jesus Christ.
I hate you. All right, we're moving back on track. Back on track.
Me up.
The next question is just us singing the "You Are Pirate" video at you.
Okay.
So, are we doing a unison?
No, we're not going to sing this song.
Yo ho, tibbly dee, being a pirate is all right to be.
So I guess that kind of ties in. Like, obviously, you've written more than your fair share of piracy. What led you to introduce, piracy into the ponyverse? Like, did you just have this moment? You're like, I got to make these ponies into pirates, or like, what inspired that?
Well, combination of things, but I wanted, because Equestria seems like a tiny little place in a very large world, and the ponies don't seem to know anything about anything beyond their borders. And I wanted to explore the world. And in the sort of medieval-ish, steampunkish setting they have, there's going to be pirates. So,
Oh yeah.
and pirates are fun. And I'm a total Age of Sail geek. I've read all the Patrick O'Brian novels and Horatio Hornblower and all that shit, and I've actually sailed aboard tall ships, and so it's something I absolutely love. So grafting that onto ponies was a no-brainer for me, and bound to happen.
That's so cool.
Aren't there already pirates in the movie and in the comics?
Yeah, but I started them off on the pirates before that happened. It was the Twilight Enigma where they first encountered the whole piracy thing, and that was written pre-movie. I'm not sure if it was pre-comics, the one that I guess it was Andrew Price did. Not sure if it was pre the comics or not, but it certainly was before the movie.
So, from the standpoint where we're kind of in the spot where you began writing them arguably before the main show took it on, how did you feel when all of a sudden they brought this into the fold of this is something that we want in the series?
I loved it. I mean, first of all, justified my choice to do it. But yeah, airships and pirates, dude, sign me up for that stuff.
Do you feel like in any ways they've included any clever nods towards the things that you've already created?
Well, there are a couple of things that I wouldn't say predicted, but pre-shadowed. The whole thing in the Celestia Code where the changelings actually change when they share love. In my case, it's back to normal ponies where, they came from in my universe originally. But when that happened with Thorax and all them, I went, oh, holy shit. Yeah. I mean, because what's the cure for somebody who is a narcissist who just wants to take and take and take love? It's get them to learn to share it, and it's better for everybody. So I guess it was sort of an obvious thing to come up eventually. But yeah, it was really fun to have done that first.
Right. It was probably in the show Bible somewhere, but you beat them to it.
Somebody wrote down in the show Bible, they turn into Skittles.
I think you mean Gay Moose.
The Skittle bugs. Oh man. But it's primarily a visual medium, the cartoon, so they had to do something that would be very visually striking. So I don't begrudge them that.
And sell toys, that too.
Oh yeah,
that's also part of it. Everyone, you got to have your green one and the purple one, and someone likes blue, so I have the blue one.
Yeah, because before that, if you bought a changeling toy, if there were any, you bought one, you got them all.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you just go Warhammer 40K and Tyrannid them bitches.
Number 4. What superpower would you like to have?
Oh, speaking of changelings, the changeling's shape-changing power. That's the thing that proves to me that changelings are dumb as rocks. Because they can change into, when Chrysalis first showed up, the small changeling changed into the small ponies, and she was a larger changing the size of Cadence. She changed into Cadence. There was a feeling that conservation of mass was at play there, and they had limits. But then,
it's the Mass Effect.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but they can become inanimate objects and still perceive the world around them without eyes or ears. They can become enormous creatures like a bugbear or something like that. So it's really a powerful magic power under those conditions. Yeah, that the shapeshifting is just would be astounding. I'd shapeshift into a much handsomer guy.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah, about 20 years younger too.
All right, next question. Did you, during your life, sit down on your chair, the grammar that Glim has here, and said to yourself, why do I like this colorful equine?
I think I covered that already. I never asked myself why I liked them because I knew it was new, it was different, it was well written, it was well animated. The main character was someone I immediately identified with. So yeah, no questions.
Fair enough. Then this last one, Glim loves to come up with very enigmatic questions that he asks people on the cast until some guest gets it right, and then we all get confused and we have this moment like, how did we not get the reference? And it looks like he has a new one this week, and I'm stumped. He asks, a very eccentric man is sitting in a couch. His face is covered with the most refined, say, réconcilié. I don't know. It's French.
Yeah.
And the man has a big smile on his face. A person sitting on the left side of the happy man asked him a question that made the man's smile fade away. However, despite not having a smile anymore, he asked the question furiously. What answer do you think he said?
Hey, I'm going to go with my standard answer in cases like this. Laughing fish are eating my furniture.
What? Is that a reference to something?
Yeah, actually.
It sounds like something Terry Pratchett would write.
No, it was a bumper sticker I saw 30 years ago. Some car in Silicon Valley had a bumper sticker, and that was what was on it. And I've never forgotten the innate wisdom of that statement ever since.
Yes, some things are truly beyond words.
I don't know. Well, no, go ahead. I think that's all the time we have for that question.
Yes. Up next, we have someone we haven't seen on the cast in a long time. We have Anonymous Potato. Number one, what are the best books you've read, both in the MLP fandom and in general?
Oh, wow. Well, the ones I remember are the ones I like. I don't know if I would say they're the best books, but outside of the fandom, I'm really a fan of old classic science fiction from the 80s and 90s. Tolkien, Watership Down. I know I mentioned that a couple of times about things. Love that book. Let's see. The Last Unicorn, the Peter Beagle book, was wonderful. Yes. I'm trying to think of examples of the Titan trilogy by John Varley. Just fascinating stuff because it was really creative and different and like nothing that had been written before or since, for that matter. If you go back and pick out the weirdest books that were commonly popular in the last 30 years, those are probably pretty much my best of list.
Probably more experimental fiction rather than necessarily straightforward stories. Or
really in structure, not necessarily, but concept and plot and things like that. When a book is truly different than others around it, I'm a real xenophile. I like the strange and unusual, so which is not always a good thing. Like I said, Stirling's law.
Of course.
But as far as MLP fiction, man, we have a lot of great writers, and in very different genres. Aragon is one of the funniest guys I know, and in a way that I don't understand. Because the old comedy rule is the rule of threes. You tell something one, two, three, and the third time you make it different, you twist it, it's funnier. Aragon can repeat a joke 15 freaking times in a story, or a paragraph for that matter, and I will still laugh at the 15th time, and I have no idea how he does it. That's that's just brilliance to me. Other than short and funny, I like long epics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a friend of mine, Daedalus Egel. He wrote The Education of Clover the Clever, and it's a historical piece about Clover becoming Star Swirl's apprentice. Sorry, I can't talk. Let me take another drink of rum here. Okay, that's better. But that's I think 170,000 words, and it's just wonderful to read. It's really entertaining. And there's some of the gigantic ones. Admiral Biscuit. I couldn't write a slice of life to save my life. I it's just not something that comes naturally to me. And he makes it look so effortless and entertaining. Pony goes into a McDonald's and eats a sandwich. It sounds boring, but he always manages to make it interesting. And his magnum opus, Silver Glow's Journal, which is like almost 1,000,000 words, and he designed it to be read one chapter a day because it's an entry in a journal every day. And I didn't find it until it was done, and I read the whole damn thing at once. And he was going, "God, does it work like that?" And I go, "Oh, hell yeah, works fine." So I have a soft spot in my heart for Hard Reset. Some of the long, gory stories. Oh my God, I love that story. It's just, there's a dark humor that runs through it that just hits me right in the center of the target.
Eakin was really kind of a fandom classic, like, writer back in the day. Hard Reset's one of those. People love it.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't hesitate to call it a classic. It's something that anybody getting into pony fic, I would probably have a half a dozen or a dozen stories to say, "Oh, you got to read this one." Of course, one would be mine because I'm an egotist. But he's just, and I messaged him back and forth for a while on stories like that, and he's seems to be a great guy, as well as a good writer. Let's see. God, there are some that are just objectively bad, but they're guilty pleasures.
Those are great.
The Immortal Game by Aesthetic B.
I'm aware of this one.
It's like an anime version of, it's mature and not for sex. It's gory and grim and, I guess, but it's the original Alicorns come back and they're pretty much just freaking horrible. It's a lot like Game of Thrones, only, sorry, George, it's better written. Yeah, but it's really grim and lots of combat and stuff like that. And it's a guilty pleasure because on any objective evaluation of any of its parts, it's not really skillful, but it's just a lot of fun. And especially because it's not one of the ones I would usually like something like that, but it just tickled my fancy. So there's that one. He also wrote this, and it's grim and dark and horrible, and then he wrote this absolutely goofy comedy is brilliant on everything, and it's like, short. It's like 10,000 words, something like that. It's Twilight Sparkle gets a free salad.
I remember hearing about this one. Yes.
It's brilliant because he's got Twilight's character down to a T, turns it up to 11, makes her a badass. Also, the King of Frogs is involved with the story, and the Equestrian Intelligence Service, and it starts real simple premise and it goes completely freaking off the rails in a way that totally makes sense in that world. So yeah, I guess I was being a little bit ungenerous when I said that the parts of, well, I don't know, the long novel were not really that great. They're perfectly fine because people will get hung up on how well you draw a character, what your language is like, make sure you don't have any typos, and that's all good and important. But the most important thing is to tell a good story. If you tell a really good story and the verbiage isn't that great, that's fine. But like I said earlier, with a show that the special effects are a little subpar, but the story's really great, I'd rather watch that than the best special effects you can come up with. So it's storytelling, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure I forgot, got a dozen stories. Well, okay, Friendship is Optimal, and
Yes.
That, I think there are a dozen other stories set in that world that are actually better than the original. The original had that brilliant idea, but then a lot of people took off with it and wrote some. God, let's see. I think the best one. I know this is not going to be a popular opinion because the author is not well liked, but Chalem S. Conterans, Friendship is Optimal. It's Heaven is Terrifying, but she actually used the Latin in the title, and that's Chateaubriand. And she wrote a lot of FIO stories and a lot of Conversion Bureau. And there was a lot of pushback against her for mainly the Conversion Bureau stories, I think. And read that FIO story because that is brilliant on so many levels because it keeps that sort of illusion of heaven in the forefront of being an equestrian, being a pony where your values are satisfied, but you look at every step along the way that Celeste AI takes, and she's freaking terrifying. She is a soulless machine that will do anything to fulfill the programming, no matter how outright freaking evil it is. And the way she blended those two together was just perfect.
Well said.
Okay.
Well said.
Anyway, yeah, enough fanboying about that. I mean, but that's what we're here for.
Oh yeah, we're definitely here for that. The next question is actually the opposite side of the coin. What are some of the worst things that you've read? And you're more than welcome to say my story.
God, I wrote one that was really bad, but it's been flushed down the drain, so I won't mention that one. And there are quite a few that are just bad. They're just, from a craft point of view, they're you can hardly understand what's going on because the language is so fractured. But I'm not gonna. I will name one. Actually, I'm not. No, I'm not going because that's not fair. But to tell you the truth, the guy who wrote this story, and this is a matter of personal taste too, the guy's craft is superb. Just from a state of a professional quality of craftsmanship in his writing, he's probably one of the best fan writers I've run into. But his stories are horrible. He uses his powers for evil. They're unpleasant to read, and they're even more unpleasant because he writes so well. I'm not a big fan of horror and gore, and he is more for the horror, but realistic portrayal of an utter tragedy, and the death of main characters in a completely um, pointless way. Yeah, that is not for me. So
That's
he's written a lot of
that's
stuff, but I read two by him, and then just said nope, not gonna even look at any of the rest of his stuff. Um, in the real world, um, the biggest hate I have on for a book is probably Corrections by Jonathan Franzen.
I can't say I've heard of this.
Oh my God. Franzen became the literary darling of the world when he wrote this thing. It's he before this he had never written a novel. He wrote short stories for the New Yorker, I think, and everything. And I happen to know his gal pal, and uh, anyway, it is very well written, and it is a garbage stew of neurotic assholes being vile to each other. And
Just sounds like us.
yeah, there you go. But less enjoyable. Uh, no, and the thing is, when it was published, everybody praised it up and down. The New York Times said, "Oh my God, the most wonderful author of our age," and just hyperbole like that. But what it came down to is the literary qualities that a lot of the intelligentsia value are not what go into telling a good story. Because it was a bestseller and because everybody said it was good, it was started in development for an HBO movie or series or something like that, and the thing is, it died. I think it's been twice they were going to try and make it, and it just nothing became of it because there's no story there, and people trying to turn it into a script. Well, what do we do? There's it's just it's so repetitive and pointless, and nothing changes. No characters change over it except they get worse. It's just so. Yeah, suffice it to say, I really hate it, and I hate it even more because so many people said it was so good.
Interesting. Why do you think people said it was so good? Like what like clearly there was something there, even like something intangible that people latched onto.
Actually, I have the perfect answer for that.
Oh.
Friendship is magic. Because Jonathan was very close friends to a lot of New York publishers, to the editor of The Atlantic and the New Yorker. And, when they say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. He had a lot of friends who pushed his work very, very hard.
I gotcha. Good old wink, wink, nudge, nudge, know your friends sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you all have gone out and watched a TV program or something online or a movie, and said to yourself, "How the fuck did this ever get made?" And the who looked at this and said, "Oh, that's good." Well, a lot of people, they were friends with the people involved, and they made it because they were helping their friends out. So yeah, if you want to be a writer, get to know publishers and agents.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Now the last question from Anonymous Potato before
yes.
we do our quick ad read is which MLP character would you most want to be and why? For example, you got dropped in Equestria and took over their body. Who would you want to?
Oh, yeah, well, I'd have to say Twilight. I mean, I would feel very guilty dispossessing her, but yeah, pre royalty, probably pre School of Friendship Twilight, because then I'd cash in uh, whatever wealth I had and build an airship and tell Celestia to prunk off and go adventuring.
It's time to become a pirate.
Oh, Ghibli, being a pirate is all right, I mean.
Well, there's a lot more money to be made in clever trade, but I wouldn't be above sinking somebody that badly needed it.
Yeah. All right, now we've hit roughly our halfway point, so it is about that time that we reach across and do a very quick ad roll. Hello for everyone who's welcome or joining for the first time or reached this far. We have a Barcast Patreon. What do we do with this money, you might ask? Well, turns out that 100% of our profits, proceeds, bits you donate on Twitch, as well as ad revenue that we receive on YouTube, goes to horse rescue charity. Specifically, Red Wings Horse Sanctuary out in mid-California, where we sponsor a horse you guys voted on. His name is Little Bit. And with your guys' help, we're able to pay for services such as getting his hoofsies trimmed and his teethers cleaned and getting him fed, nice bales of hay that he can eat. And he gets to play with all the other horses, and it's a grand old time. If with your guys' help, over the last few years, we've been able to raise hundreds of dollars for them for our terrible money-losing scheme that makes us look legitimate and be able to go to cons and interview even bigger names like John Delancey and Andrea Libman like we have in the past. If you would like to support our endeavors and make us, I don't know, legitimate, the word tastes dirty on my mouth, please consider donating some bits. You can do that by using the diamond in the bottom right of Twitch right now, disabling your ad blocker when watching Barcast videos, or donate to the Patreon where we have sweet incentives like being able to join us on game nights, seeing behind the counter, and also getting some additional insight into what guests are coming week over week. It's a lot of fun. We hope that we can see you guys there, and thank you everyone for your support for such a long time. Alex, post the links. Oh, you're already doing it. You're the best. Thank you. See, I'm nice to the intern. I'm nice when I do the ad roll. Pencil's me.
The way you describe where Little Bit is, you make it sound like he's in heaven. Like, oh, he's in a farm somewhere. We play with all the other horses.
He's in mid-California. He hasn't gone upstate. Oh,
is
I
going
do make
upstate,
it sound that way.
Yeah, is going upstate a euphemism for being dead?
Oh no, Pencil heard what I said. Back to questions. Now then, Pillbug is up next and asks their very first question. How does that make you feel?
Did I black out for a second there? I think I missed something.
Nope, that's their question. Their question is, without any context, how does that make you feel?
It fills me with inertia.
Inertia. Good to hear. Now the next set of questions are from Alex _, but my voice is feeling a little sore. Flam, would you like to take these?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
It's all you.
Oh. Moving on to Alex _. First starting off, oh God, we're doing another one of these. Number 1, how dark?
Okay, well, that's a fair question. The answer is it depends on how you do it. If it's done well and appropriately, very dark is okay with me. I don't tend to. Well, no, I have written some very dark things, but yeah, it depends on how you do it. If you just had to have a general answer, I'd say not very.
Seems reasonable to me. And building off of that, second question asks, what did you see?
Gee, I've already talked about the center of the world out in Yuma. Actually, if you want to take a road trip out Highway 8 there from San Diego out towards Yuma, there's the Desert Tower and Coyote's Junkyard and a bunch of other really funky classic road trip sort of attractions to see along the way. And I've seen them all.
Sounds like a fun place to drive through, that's for sure. So then moving away from that with number 3, what's a good idea for a hit song?
Oh, I think Spoiled Rich Demands to See the Manager would be a good song.
Oh my gosh.
So not only is it going to be a story, it's going to be a hit song.
Yeah, I think so. We may have a whole new, alternate world starting all sorts of spin-offs with this. God, I hope not.
I want this song to end with "Why I Never" and remix that.
Oh, no.
That'd be great.
No, the song has to end with "I am the manager" when she has to speak to the manager. Or I don't know. Number 4. This is actually an oddly deep question, even though it's meant for shit posting purposes.
Okay.
How should I prepare for disappointment? Asking for a friend.
Practice. Be disappointed a lot. It's a good thing about being an optimist. The good thing about being a pessimist is you're pleasantly surprised a lot.
So be disappointed a lot. So basically, role play as my parents.
Yes.
Oh,
that sounds about right.
So you're saying just go out and seek disappointment.
Well, you know what? That's sort of the way everything goes. Once you experience it a lot, you know a lot better how to handle it. And I don't recommend you have lots of dear close friends die so you can understand how to deal with grief, but I can't think of anything else offhand.
No, I totally get it. I was only trying to be a dick with that, but 100%. I totally agree. After a while, it is practice and becoming numb to it, and it's just another emotion, for better or for worse. So,
well, really, more realistic expectations probably would help as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Nope, that's all. I took that far too seriously, I suppose.
Oh,
no worries. Number 5. Is it all even or is it all odd?
Laughing fish are eating my furniture.
Yes.
I should have made that the drinking phrase because I have a feeling I'm going to be using that one a lot.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect. Okay. More normal, vague question. Have you ever been south of the equator?
Yeah, I have. I was in the Merch Marine right out of high school and have done that and have since been to Australia.
Sweet. Alrighty then. Another deep and shitposty question. What does it mean to be human, and what does it mean to be the little horse?
People who would say there is no difference between them, but just try and lick your hooves after eating fried chicken, and you'll know the difference pretty quick.
I like that answer.
Yeah, everybody has their own answer to that, and it's only valid if you're a human or a little horse.
Completely agree. So, lick your answer to that is lick your hooves and see how you feel after eating fried chicken, of course. All right. Moving on from that. Interesting. What is the best sandwich filling?
Pulled pork.
Okay. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Barbecued pulled pork with red onions and pickles. Best sandwich ever.
What kind of bread?
Dutch crunch.
Ooh.
I see you are a man of insight. Very nice. All right. God, that's making me hungry.
I have strong convictions on things that matter not at all.
That matters to me. A good sandwich
Yeah.
sandwich is amazing, and defeating a sandwich only makes it tastier.
Okay, you're right. You're right. That is an important part of life.
Absolutely. All right, going a little bit more vague. What sound does it make, and can you replicate it?
I don't know if I blew out the mic on that or not. But
We didn't hear anything.
we
Actually.
you didn't hear anything. Oh, it probably was. I can do a very good imitation of a raven, and there's one sitting outside my window right now, pecking on it. Probably because he wants me to come out and feed him.
Pecking on your chamber door?
Yeah. He doesn't say anything. He just stands there and glares at me until I give him some suet.
And then it said nevermore. And closing with the final question, which is actually a really good question for a lot of situations. For real, what would you like to be asked?
Well, okay, smart ass answer first.
Okay.
Where would you like me to put this truckload of $100 unmarked bills, sir?
Again, a man of quality.
Otherwise, probably something like, hey, do you mind if I tell you something about myself that's really cool? Because I like hearing other people's stories and experiences.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, man, we could regale you for hours on our terrible stories, but we're not here to talk about us.
Exactly. Well, that ends Alex_'s questions. Thank you for those, Alex. And we move on to Ravage. Ravage, did you want to take your questions? Is he dead, Jim?
Ravage is mute. He might have stepped away. But that's fine.
No, I'm here. I think I'm mute. No, yeah, I'll take him.
All right.
By the way, Alex, you're a little bitch. I know you edited your questions after I posted mine, so fuck you.
Wow.
No, that number 10 question, I had it written down as my first one, like hours ago.
Ah.
Yes.
So mean.
That's evil.
You're demoted, Alex. Okay, so if you were to make a crossover, any crossover whatsoever, and without repercussions, what would it be about?
Oh, that's an easy one. It would be Resident Evil meets VeggieTales.
Oh my god!
I like it.
Which Resident Evil though?
Oh man,
this is important.
This opinion may be unpopular because I think it would be the first one, because the first one had more impact on me than any others. And I'll tell you, I've just played halfway through Village, and it's boring.
Really?
Yeah, you get railroaded into the plot. There's not much going on, nothing you can affect at the beginning of it, and then you wake up and you're in the bad place, and there's not much to do but wander around and look at the creepy landscape and the creepy village with the dead things all over it. But there's not a lot to do. It's all the same, and it's been, I haven't played halfway through it. It's a couple of hours. But it's like, God damn it, I wish something would happen. Yeah, let stuff jump at me and me try and shank it. But nothing. It's weird. It's beautiful. I mean, my God, the game is gorgeous, and the creepy European dead village you're wandering through in the beginning is just, man, I cannot believe the quality of the artists building these worlds.
See, that's
nowadays.
interesting to me because I really enjoyed Resident Evil 7, and I was really excited for Resident Evil 8.
7 was good. I mean, they're all pretty good because they got that formula down. That's it's engaging from moment to moment, right? You got to solve the puzzle, you got to get through, and now, oh fuck, zombies everywhere, right? It's the game designers are good at that, but this one, I'm hoping it picks up. But I actually haven't had to fight anything. I'm an hour into this
What?
game, and I'm wondering if I got a defective copy or something. I was going to re-download it from Steam or something. But yeah, you're just wandering around looking at shit.
Yeah, that sounds so weird because I just watched like 2 playthrough videos of the first 2 hours, and the guy's shooting up a lot. Like he's having trouble.
Wow, I wonder if there isn't something wrong with my copy or something. But it's just, yeah, I haven't run into anything. I mean, maybe it glitched out. And
check your
the
difficulty
enemies are dead.
settings. If you have it on reporter mode, i.e. easy, you
Oh,
might
God,
have
no.
problems.
Was there a
No.
day one patch that you missed?
That may be it. I'm going to give it a second chance because I really like the series. And I've got it on standard. So, I mean, I'm so fucking old I can't do God tier anymore because I just get blitzed. Yeah, it may be something. It may be a.
I would double check your settings. Maybe go into Steam and verify the integrity of the files because you should be like struggling to get through some of those areas.
Wow. No, it's. I mean, you played it, so you don't mind if I do specifics. But after I wake up and the truck's crashed and everything, go through the woods, a lot of scary noises, but nothing happens, and then you make it to the village and go through quite a lot of houses and a lot of streets and everything, and just nothing happens. I mean, except there's a couple of live crows, but I'm constantly expecting to be dropped
something
in
else.
Okay, without giving any spoilers, have you gotten to the burning house yet?
No.
Okay, so when you start getting closer to that, you get a hell of a lot more, freaking zombies coming at you.
Okay. Well, like I said, so far I have none. So,
right.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll give it until the burning house, and if I don't run into stuff by then, it's like, okay, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Welcome to Barcast technical support.
Well, no, this is actually good information for me to know because over on Screaming Closet, I'm probably going to play RE8 soon. So this is valuable for me. I'm selfish. All right, but
alrighty. So with all of that, we're gonna go into the weirder questions I've got for you now. Have you ever released a foot fetish, i.e., porn video, where you fuck me, I can't talk. Have you ever released a foot fetish porn video where can your fans find it?
Okay, I don't know who asked this question, but dude, real talk here. You really have to consider the odds of that actually happening before you ask questions like that, okay? Unless you're just giving us a back end reveal of your own interests.
Yes.
No, the whole idea is to see how uncomfortable I can make you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
We're getting there.
It's a foot fetish video, but with
that is 110% what Rab tries to do here on the cast.
Okay, I got you. Well, go ahead, man. Do your worst.
All right. Do you write gore clop, i.e., snuffles, because it's cuter for ponies?
No, no, not really. I have had a few scenes that have, well, not gore. I don't wallow in the actual viscera and blood and stuff like that. But I've written ponies getting killed and wounded and stuff like that. But it's not something that interests me that much, so I don't I don't dwell on it.
Okay. All right. Favorite MILF?
Oh, that's an interest.
Tarkin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
Singing fish.
have you seen Jar Jar Binks' mom? I
I
mean,
have
seriously,
not.
I have actually.
think about it.
Excuse me?
Oh man, man.
There's an actual Star Wars comic where Jar Jar's stranded on his planet with his parents, and his dad tries to kill him the entire comic.
Oh, you're shitting me. Oh God. No, I just imagine his mom has these nice, big, soft,
Tracks of
wonderful
land.
eye stalks there. No, seriously, man. A lot of potential motorboating action there. Yeah, just think about that one, boy.
All I'm imagining is Boss Nass going.
Oh, why would you do this?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm
Christ.
so angry.
Oh, okay.
All right. Favorite non-pony?
Non-pony in the series?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, it's probably Spike, just because he's around that much. But my favorite, man. No, I'm going to change my answer. Chrysalis.
Ooh, nice
She's not
choice.
quite a pony. So, yeah. I think she's a fascinating character and was really, although her later characterization was actually pretty damn fun, I think she was wasted.
I feel that.
Well, not wasted. I think her potential wasn't fulfilled. But yeah, definitely Chrissy. She's wonderful.
Mm. All right. Well, to turn this segue around, if bats are the superior pony, how many Anons must we suck dry?
All one.
All of them? Is that what I heard?
All but one.
All but
All
one.
but
Why?
All except
Why
one.
all but one? Why all but one?
Because it's a classic answer. You ever hear the question, how many angels can dance on the head of a pin?
I've never heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you bring up theology, it often comes up because it is a question. Well, this is important. How many angels can dance on the head of a pin? And the answer, the official answer for which you could be burned at the stake if you didn't admit that this was correct, was all but one.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Middle Ages was a great, fascinating time. So I'm stealing from them, and that's my answer. Final answer.
All right. Why is Spike the worst and everyone that likes him wrong?
I just got done saying that he was the best. Well, he can be just a right little shit at times.
You're not wrong.
No. And there are times that, yeah, you do want to throw him into a wood chipper, but if you don't have somebody on the bottom rung, then, the people further up the ladder, the next one up the ladder gets to be the butt of everything. So Spike serves a necessary function. Let's put it that way.
So he's everybody's favorite puppy to kick. Got it.
Yeah, unfortunately. He does have one very good quality is that he usually, and of course he's being written by committee, so it's hard to say he has any definite quality, but he is usually very, very faithful to Twilight. even when he completely fucks up. So he does have his good qualities.
All right. Hi, Kitty. Go away. Go away. Go, go, go. Go away.
Professional.
Sorry.
The podcast.
Right? If you could start an interstellar war between any two factions, who would they be and why?
I hope this isn't a 40K question because
No, it's non-specific.
Okay. In that case, I'd say the two that are nearest to Earth, because then we'd get to see the big kabooms between them. In other words, an interstellar war may be of enough effect that we would actually get to have proof of life out there, even if it was shooting the crap out of each other. So yeah, I'd start a war with the neighbors. First of all, it's easier to watch, and second of all, you could always broker peace and then go find Jar Jar's planet and look up his mom.
All right. Well, if dick cheese could be blocked and sliced for sandwiches, how much vaginal marinara would we need to spread on our avocado toast to make a fuck trophy? A flushed consolation prize is acceptable too.
Okay. I mean, traditionally, it's 2 ounces, but most recipes were written by Midwesterners who are adverse to spices, so I'd say go ahead, use like 4 or 5 ounces. Live a little.
All right. Congratulations, you are ready for Vylon questions.
Oh, God. So is that better or worse?
Oh, so much worse. They're
Something
like
special.
Oh, God. Okay, come at me, dude.
Oh, okay. If we have extra time, we'll bring out a Vylon question or two.
We'll bring out the artillery.
Next set of questions are from Dreams of Ponies. How much romance in the Luna Cipher were you sailing away with your favorite ship versus actually being forced by the plot?
An interesting question. I learned something very valuable writing that story, and that was that most people can't tell the difference between nefarious shenanigans going on and the writer not being able to write well. I thought I made it so freaking obvious from the outset that something was wrong, and Twilight, who I portrayed as heterosexual previously, suddenly fell for Luna hard and fast. And people said, wait a minute, you said she was straight. And I said, yeah, I did. And it didn't. I had the whole main cast parade by going, Twilight, what the hell's going on? This is not normal. This is weird. And it still didn't, come off as, no, this is shenanigans. This isn't that. And I will give you an exclusive admission. The way I had originally outlined the plot, at the end, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it yet, but I will. When it was discovered that Twilight was being influenced, she was not going to be in love with Luna. And there was going to be a very tragic and tearful breakup and somehow a reconciliation between them as friends when it was discovered that something that Luna very much wanted wasn't something that Twilight could reciprocate. And the thing is, I got so pissed off by that time, by all the comments saying, geez, you don't know how to write this thing, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, fuck it. No, her and Luna are gonna live happily ever after and make tons of babies. Fuck you all. So, so I actually changed the ending of it just because I was annoyed. which
Yeah.
probably wasn't a good way to drive a plot along. But I just thought, okay, why not?
That's one of the things about film fiction, especially when people get attached to a story. If you begin to write something in a way that is truer to your vision but doesn't necessarily leave them 100% satisfied, the film fiction doesn't react well to the purposely unsatisfying ending. And it's frustrating at times because you want them to think about it. You want them to have that same logical deduction that you do or make them think the thing that you want them to think. But no, ponies must kiss.
Yeah, and the right ponies must kiss. I mean, I have lots of shipping stories of various sorts, and they contain all sorts of pairings that I wouldn't have thought to put together, or I think actually wouldn't work given the characters' personalities. But I enjoy them anyway. I don't have much. I don't put a lot of value on it. My own personal opinions as to shipping, but holy crap, are there people out there who are the one true pair? And
They
if you
lose
get
their
the
shit.
wrong ponies, doesn't matter why or how you do it. Yeah, they do. But that's, well, that's the way things go, I suppose. And if I had it to do over again, I don't know if I would do it differently or not. Because it actually turned out pretty cool for a lot of other reasons, plot convenience down the road. So, and I like Luna a lot. I mean, if I was Twilight, I would date her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think you need to be Twilight for that.
No.
Well, yeah, there's that. It's like however it comes about.
I'll have to remember that at a convention next time we have a convention. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for science. Raise your hand if you would date Luna. And see how many hands aren't up. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be easier to do it the other way around. And
one thing I've occasionally thought of doing, especially for stories that are like, flagships, mine that have gotten quote unquote critical acclaim, is just like for April Fools or something, just release a quote unquote official sequel and it just shits on everything. Like it just completely undermines the entire plot of the original one for just to see if it'll actually annoy people. Like,
I imagine it would, yeah.
I've never done it before, but I've considered it a few times.
I mean, well, if you want to see what'll happen, just look at the backlash of any writer who's ever pre-released a bad ending. And I can't remember the guy's name anymore, but I was reading the story that he was doing, and just the way he was going to end the story was so bad. Like, his research was bad. He didn't even understand how relationships work in the long term, or the after effects of how that would have ended. And it's like, it's so logically flawed that you could not pull it off. And it made so many people angry. Like, I mean, the comment section were just full of nothing but people tearing him apart. And it's like, yeah, try it.
Well, I mean, yeah, they should. Illogical assholes like that should be discouraged.
Well, I don't know. There's no right way to describe it. Basically, the character was given a choice between going back to Earth or staying, and if he'd gone back to Earth, that was the most irresponsible thing he could have done because of the situation that he was in. And it's like, normal people with a functioning brain think about what'll happen, under different circumstances. And I guess the writer he was tired of the story and he just wanted to end it as quickly as possible. And he picked the worst possible way to, because he was giving up on writing. So he just said, this is what's going to happen on the end. Right. And he picked the worst possible plot point that he could have.
Yeah. I think that's unfair to the readers that have followed you. for so long. You're leaving something unfinished is terribly unfair.
Mhm.
And the thing is, God, I think it was 5 years ago, I made a vow to myself I wasn't going to read any stories until they were finished,
Hmm.
because I had, started out on so many that were good and enjoyable, and that the people just got tired and just left the fandom, or stopped writing at least anyway. And it's just like, oh God, that's irritating. So yeah, finish it up. But see, there's the other thing that I think is critical besides good storytelling is satisfaction, imminent satisfaction on the part of the readers. Is you have to tie it together in a way that makes sense for the story and is satisfying. Even if it's a tragedy, it has to be a beautiful tragedy, or the perfect horror story. I'm not much into horror, but if you're going to write one that ties up neatly and that gives the reader some satisfaction. Because a cheat at the end, um, that's just not fair. And moreover, people are going to read your next story.
Hey, Enigma, third roommate when?
You shush. You shush your mouth.
I actually followed that ship. Get back to it, asshole.
Same.
Moving on. Let's
Sorry if I
see.
hit any nerves there.
No, we're trolling him.
Okay.
Nyla is up next. Hi there. I hope you're having a good time. Hope you don't mind a few silly questions. Number one, do you like head pats?
I missed that word.
Head pats.
Head pats. No, I don't. I like head scratches or back scratches, but not pats. Don't know why. I don't even pat my dog's head. I'll scratch his head or his ears or his back, but I don't pat him on the head because it's sort of like, there you are driving down the road and suddenly you hit a bunch of speed bumps. It's like, when does that get fun?
All right. And then number two is, do you like pineapples?
Oh, I love pineapples. Not whole all at one time, but pineapple flavored lifesavers, pineapple juice. Really, really like it.
Pineapple pizzas?
I don't mind it. I mean, I've had ham and pineapple pizzas. I've never ordered one myself, but if we was in a group and they ordered a bunch of pizzas and everybody scarfed down the other bits and there was ham and pineapple left, I'd eat it.
Yeah.
And it's,
That's fair.
I don't see why it's people are so against it.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny. They say fruit doesn't belong on pizza, and I said, you realize that's what tomatoes are, right?
Yeah, come on. Although there is a pizza I will not eat, and this was, my God. They say there's no such thing as bad pizza or bad sex. That's a lie.
It's a fucking lie.
Oh my God, yeah, and it can be really bad. And the worst pizza I ever had was from a place, and I can say the name because they're out of business. Pyramid Pizza in San Jose, California. And they had a south of the border pizza.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
And they used refried beans instead of tomato sauce. And you think about it, bread, refried beans, and cheese, well, that's kind of Mexican. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But,
Mel, you sent me this, you son of a bitch.
but they put jalapenos on it.
Oh.
And I don't know what happened in the process of making the pizza, and I grew up on the Mexican border. I can eat anything from Mexico. Don't break a sweat. But this pizza was the hottest thing I've ever put in my mouth. And,
oh wow.
And baking the refried beans in a pizza oven caused them to become gritty. So it was ridiculously hot, and like somebody had put sand in the beans.
fucking
Oh
nasty.
no!
Incredibly nasty. So yeah,
I will
bad
say
pizza.
I've had a similar experience with Domino's. And I'll tell everybody out there, do not order the hamburger pizza. Do not order the taco pizza. They are fucking disgusting. I don't know what the hell they did to it, but they've got this taste. And it doesn't taste like anything in particular. It tastes like this fucking pizza, whatever it's supposed to be. And it is,
Wow.
oh my God, it is bad. I cannot describe the flavor because I've never had it anywhere else. It's like,
Tacos. Yeah. Well, okay, we learned something valuable here today, and that's that Mexican food and pizzas don't mix.
it sounds like it.
I will beware.
Well, no, and then that's the thing. Between the Mexican pizza and the fucking hamburger pizzas, they both have that same weird flavor. I don't know what the fuck they did to it to get it that way, but they're both disgusting.
God, I don't know if they used, maybe if they used raw hamburger in the pizza, it just get too much grease in it that would congeal, or
No
God, I don't
idea.
know. But I'll take your word for it, man. I will just avoid that shit.
It was not their most popular dish. I know that. It fell really fast.
Buyer beware, you're in for a scare.
And then now, last but not least, since we're in our last 10 minutes, we're getting ready to wrap up. To our luck and our surprise, from just off stage, the lovely Vylon has actually graced us with her presence once more and provided us with a question.
Oh my God.
Okay,
It's a blessing from the Lord.
It's jingle time. Dum-dum-dum. It's time for questions with Vylon. I can't do that sweet, like, little girl voice that Pencil does. Tee. So Vylon has a very customized question for you that actually I've never seen asked before. She asks, how do you feel about grilled chicken intestines?
I've never had them. I've had lots of other intestines of various sorts. I mean, sausage casing, they may use plastic nowadays, but, haggis is in a sheep's stomach, and it's all meat to me, man. So chicken intestines, probably by themselves would be a little stringy, but, stuff them with some goodies. I'd eat them.
Because funny enough, in the Philippines, it's a very common street dish called Iisaw.
I'll be damned. And it's
no joke.
Chicken intestines.
Yes, sometimes barbecue pork.
Holy shit. Well, if I'm ever there, I will give it a try. I promise. Sounds fantastic.
Esau eating Iisaw. There you go. And then she concludes with, how are you today?
Good, actually.
That's great. Well, that is all the questions that we had in the thread. I'm just going to take a look through. I think there was one question. I want to make sure that we got it asked. Yes. Okay, so there was one question that was thrown out by Empty Plot Filler, and we're getting back around to it. If you could have any of your stories illustrated, which one would you like to see illustrated? And secondly, which scene would you think would be the most interesting to see visually brought to life?
Wow. That's a difficult question. I actually I have had people draw some scenes from the Celestia Code, and did really good job with them. But if I had my choice, I probably would do one of the airship battles from the Skyla pseudonym, just because that would be absolutely freaking epic. I've got some maps and some diagrams of the airships in there, but nothing heroic, I guess you would say. That would be wonderful. Or even just, the pony crew sailing on the airship. Make my little heart go pitter-pat.
Aww. Gotta love when you get, like, fan, gifts based on your creations. It really kind of makes your week at the very least.
Oh, it really does. I get somebody writing, "Oh, gee, I did this wrong and it's not very good," and then take a look at it, and I look at it and go, "Oh man, that is awesome! Thank you so much." I've Spark did a picture of Ale, the Kieran from my stories. Just sent it to me. "Oh yeah, I like to draw it," and it was beautiful and really on model and everything. And yeah, it really does make my day. Hell, it makes my week.
Aww. But speaking of week, we only have so much time, and our time today is drawing to a close. Iisaw, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule to talk to us. It was really, genuinely a pleasure.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I had a blast, guys.
With that said, though, if someone catches this on syndication and has this moment, it's like, darn, I really wish I could have gotten something in there. Is there a way that someone can send you questions or send you a private message? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way is FimFic. Yeah, Esau on FimFic. Just PM me. I respond to anybody that writes, unless it's the obvious exceptions. But yeah, just send me a message. Be happy to talk with you.
Wonderful. Now, with that said, Milk, I ask you this every week. Last week you weren't prepared. What are we doing next week?
Fuck you, we're doing a birthday. Or wait, yes,
we're doing a birthday?
Yeah, it's
Whose
a birthday.
birthday is it next week?
It's shit, I didn't study for the test.
I think it's Flam's birthday.
No, it couldn't be. It's not allowed to be his birthday.
Oh shit, is it? Oh fuck.
Maybe.
You're not allowed to age.
So feel free to join us next week as we do a big dumb birthday celebration for Flam. With that said, thank you everyone for watching this edition of the cast. Our highest bit donator this cast was nobody. Big sad face. Oh no. But that's fine. That's why we have a Patreon. Your bartenders for this evening have been Raph.
What?
Enigma.
Scree.
Flammenwerfer.
Hey, LMAO.
Milk.
Banana.
Our amazing guest, Iisaw.
Thanks a bunch, guys.
And my name's Flutter Priest. See you next week, where we're gonna sing at Flam.
Oh, on Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon! What? Dragon! I made this joke